It took 5 years to be diagnosed with celiac. When I did get diagnosed, brain fog started to lift. And very shortly after diagnosis, I just had to really, let go of some things to take care of myself. And because of that, I realized how much I was giving all my energy to another person. And when I started to pull that back and take that back and give it to myself, that's when things started to get really bad in the marriage because I was loving myself and he didn't like that.
Hello, friend. Welcome to this episode of the Phoenix Perspective Podcast. I am Corey Ray, your host, and I'm really grateful that you are here today. I have an incredible guest with me, Julie Campione, and she is a powerful energy worker and healer. Have had the privilege of knowing Julie for a couple of years. We co-worked on a collaborative project together. And the first time I was in her presence, I could feel such grounded energy. It's such a beautiful, feminine energy that just makes you feel right at home. Julie is an energy revitalist coach and medicine woman, and she uses shadow work and energy healing practices, as well as shamanic soul retrievals and vampiric spirit releases. She helps women to embody their spiritual path, their spiritual journey. You will definitely be able to feel her Phoenix story as going through a very challenging first marriage that was kind of rooted in toxic religious beliefs and her navigating through her own health challenges with celiac disease and how that's helped to bring forth her gifts to the world and bring forth her voice to the world. She is very relatable. She is going to help you feel seen. I know she helped me feel seen. And you are just going to fall in love with Julie. So let's get settled in as we have a incredible, heartwarming conversation with Julie Campione. Welcome to the Phoenix Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Ray Kovacs, a registered nurse and reflector in human design on a soul mission to help women like you rise from life's ashes with abundant energy, purpose, and joy. Each week, we'll meet at the intersection of science, soul, and storytelling as we create a bridge between holistic women's health, the sacred feminine, and cyclical wisdom. You'll get tools and insights from experts and guests helping you to thrive in every area of your life. So go ahead and pull up a chair, grab your favorite crystal or cup of tea, and let's rise like phoenixes together. We're going to have some fantastic conversations today. I can already feel it. I would love to ask you the first question I ask my guests that come on the show is, where are you at in your cycle right now?
So I am in my ovulation phase, maybe day before, but I feel like I'm just there, the beginning.
Yeah. What are you
Yeah.
feeling right now? What's the energy that's coming through being in your
Yeah.
ovulation?
I always have more energy during it, and I always know when I am ovulating because your fluids change down
Yep.
there.
Yep.
So that is what I was thinking when I knew you were gonna ask that question. I was like,
Yeah. Yes. I am a water slide down here. Yep. I'm
yeah,
definitely in my ovulation phase.
exactly.
Oh, I'm getting close. I'm on day 13 today. So I'm still kind of in my late follicular phase. I have a little bit of a longer follicular phase. I usually don't ovulate until about day between 17 and day 19. So I get a little bit more spring energy, but I'm definitely on the later spring side. It's like May when, the sun comes out and we're like, is the pool open yet? Not quite yet, but I'm ready for shorts. That's
Yeah,
where I'm at today.
I love that.
I love that. Do you find that do you feel a little spicy during your ovulation? Or just sassy, or what's that kind of energy taste like?
Yeah, I feel like I get just more high energy,
Mhm.
in the mood to do things, motivated.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely, and spicier, in the mood for, sex and the deed.
Mhm.
It just all
Love
comes
and
alive.
Mhm. It does. It feels like alive, and I can understand why women tend to want to stay in that space because it feels good. Like, I'm, like, feeling my oats right now, and they're feeling it too, and so I get it. Like, I understand when we get that turnover and we go to the other side and we're in our luteal phase, how that can kind of feel like somebody just pulled a rug right from under
Oh,
us.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and speaking of the luteal phase, about a year ago, I started to notice how much I dropped during it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to figure this out and, like, make some changes," because I was
Yeah.
not thriving.
Yeah.
It was like some days I couldn't even work, like, get myself to work, or I'd have
Mm.
to take, a lot more breaks than I needed, but, yeah, the luteal phase is definitely a challenging one.
She is a moment of reckoning. I believe that our luteal phase holds so much power and magic to let us know what we need to take care of, in our life, in our relationships, at work, in our bodies. And if we're having really shitty luteal premenstrual phase, well, then she's trying to get our attention.
Yeah.
But it's hard. And also it's hard, right? It's hard to navigate that.
Yeah, I'm grateful, to find shadow work because doing those meditations have helped me figure out, like, emotionally what's going on and what's coming up for me to see that month.
So I love that you just brought that up, the shadow work. I would love to dive into that. What is shadow work and what is it that you've been doing recently?
Yeah. So that is the parts of us that we keep hidden. So it's all that we may have suppressed in our shadow and don't want to see. Or also, it goes deeper into like past lives. Our past lives are living in our shadow as well. So a lot of what I've come to see in my shadow had to do with my sex life and sexuality. I started Entity Academy. Actually, I started like dipping my feet into learning about entities and more because of vampiric spirits. But we'll get into that karmic loop maybe later. And it was like 2 years or so ago. A lot of what was coming up for me during that container was just sex lives. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, all of this that is being uncovered helps me understand why I felt so restricted during it. And a lot of that also comes from this lifetime being brought up and raised as a Catholic.
Ooh, yeah.
So I had to break down a lot, dismantle a lot of beliefs that I learned this lifetime, and really take a step back and look at what is this? And
Mhm.
oh my gosh, like, a woman can actually enjoy it, Like,
Yes.
I just
Yes.
uncovered my shadow the other day, like, that I had this suppressed belief that for women, we weren't supposed to, like, enjoy it as much. It was, like, something for men, and that came a lot from a lot of the past lives that I've seen, as I
Wow.
meditated.
Wow, it's interesting, and this is why I know that that is not true, is
Yeah,
because our bodies are literally made for pleasure. We have an organ called the clitoris that is exclusively for pleasure. There is no other purpose for that except for us to enjoy contact, love, pleasure inside of our bodies, and that's it. Like, men, their penises are like Swiss Army knives, right?
yeah,
They're multifunctional. They pee, they ejaculate, they have to have it for reproduction and also their pleasure. So it literally is like a Swiss Army knife. But
yeah,
the women or people who have that anatomy, right? The clitoris, it is exclusively for pleasure. And so I always look to nature as the blueprint, as like, what is the story and what is truth? And the truth is that we have organs that are designed for that. And that tells me not only that we're worthy of pleasure, but that it's our birthright. And that
yeah.
uncovering is major, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because a lot of that came up for me because in my first marriage, I had that strong Catholic belief that you marry the first one that you have sexual relations with, and so I did, but it was just not. it was not a good match for me.
In that first marriage, right, it sounds like religion or your upbringing was really impactful in that choice for you to get into that relationship. How how do you feel that your voice, your pleasure, your self was restricted in that space?
Majorly restricted. Yeah, because it happened to just kinda, like, happened in the moment, and yeah, then I made the relationship work, because I think he was ready to leave at the end of the semester of my freshman year, and I was like, "But I only live, like, 2 hours away, and I come up to our cottage that's 45 minutes away, like, all the time." So, it's like, it's not like we're not gonna see each other. I became the fixer and just wanting things to work, and I could make things work, but yeah, we were just young and just not really in tune with ourselves either, I feel.
Religious component that tells you if you choose to have sex or you get pregnant, if you don't marry that person or even doing it out of wedlock is a very big sin and you're
Right,
going to hell for it.
right.
I didn't grow up Catholic. I grew up in a very extreme kind of almost a cult, a very evangelical Christian church. It was very
Wow.
hellfire and brimstone, very scary. But there was that belief that if you engage in sex or whatever, you're going to the lake of fire and you're going to burn forever. I was terrified, and when my sexuality started to wake up and I wanted to kiss the boys and I wanted to do all the things, right? I
Yeah,
really struggled with that, and that actually ended up with the breaking of the religion. Like, I broke up with God at that point. I literally gave God the middle finger and said, "Fuck
right.
you," because I couldn't make sense of it, of like, oh, I love love, and I couldn't make sense of why would this thing that feels so natural in my body be wrong, that actually was created to do. I knew that even back then in
Yeah.
my late teens and early 20s. So you followed this path based on your religious bringing and decided to get married. How did your sexual expression or non-expression impact you back then?
Yeah. I definitely suppressed it a lot because I over-exercised a lot because I had that fear of not looking good in my body. And then in the corporate world, I'm an actuary, full-time actuary, as well as doing this stuff on the side. They had like a path of 10 to 12 exams, which on top of the 40 hours outside of that, I was studying. So, I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of sex drive.
Mhm.
And then being with a partner who wasn't physically attracted to me, or somewhere down the road, there was a really big disconnect where, I was heavily criticized a lot. So it was just hard to like want to do it if I was
Mhm.
always being criticized by this person that
Mhm.
is supposed to love me and is making me believe that I was supposed to accept his constructive criticism. It maybe happened twice a month in that
Mm.
relationship, and really that is not where I wanted to be at in this lifetime. My soul, like, knew that something was wrong there, um,
Mm. Yeah.
and eventually we divorced.
What was kind of the breaking point? Like, what changed?
Yeah, I would say my health changed a lot. It took 5 years to be diagnosed with celiac, so I would have alternating bouts of constipation and diarrhea, so I never really had a nice normal bowel movements, and
Yeah.
then my body started to go numb and tingly, so my health was really a breaking point when I did get diagnosed with celiac. The brain fog started to lift,
Mhm.
um and then in the relationship, there was this day that it was like middle of February and around Valentine's Day. And my husband at the time was out at this casino with work people. And I think it was like night two came around and he called up, gave me this quick message of, we're staying another night and that's what's happening. Click. There was no love about it, no I love yous, nothing. So that poof, that was the relationship's end to me because the next day I was just crying, I was bawling, I didn't go into work. I couldn't go to work because I couldn't stop crying, and I asked God, I was like, "I don't even know who to talk to, like, please show me a sign." Moments later, my mom calls, and I'm telling her everything, and I just am bawling, so
Yes.
then I made this post on Facebook like that God answered my call, and I was just so
Mhm.
shocked by it,
Mhm.
and my sister saw it and picked me up and, like, took me home with her because yeah, things were just not good, and that was when I knew the relationship, like, had to change, but the health came first because the brain fog had to lift, and we were just not connected. Like, I looked more forward to, like, being out of the house and, like, with my friends, playing sports, like, the connection in that marriage just was really, like, lost.
I think it's amazing that you see the tie between what was impacting your health and how that was rippling out into your relationship and even the brain fog. What kind of things do we allow in when we aren't feeling right? When we don't feel well inside our bodies, like our boundaries tend to be much more loosey goosey. We don't hold them tight because we're just trying to like make it through the day. We can't even imagine putting up a boundary or potential conflict or anything because we feel like shit.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, we felt like crap, and then you're working on a career path that had all these exams that you thought you had to take, but, that was intermixed in there, and then you speak of boundaries. I don't think I had good boundaries from, childhood to begin with, because I was the youngest, I looked up to my sisters, anything anything just kind of went, like, I was just a go with the flow type of person and didn't realize how much, like, I let in because of that.
Mhm. And we carry those in to our relationships and to our work and to all of these pieces. And so our bodies end up being the ones so often that bring it to our attention. We talked about that a little earlier when we were talking about the luteal phase, right? And how PMS will just blow up when you are not paying attention and handling the things that need to be handled, whether it's in your health, like nutritionally or self-care or in a relationship or whatever. And so even as a child, we learn these habits, these ways of being, and it's so incredible how our bodies are literally like the indicator lights on our cars. They tell us when something's wrong, and it's not just the body. It's our emotions, it's trauma, it's grief, it's, mental state and even the whole spiritual aspect because we are all of those things. Do you kind of see that your journey with celiac was a catalyst for you? That even
Yeah.
though it sucked, it led you to this.
Major turning point. Like, I'm so grateful for the diagnosis. First, I've always had bad gas since I was younger. I could clear a room, and the being diagnosed with celiac resolved that. And I don't eat like dairy products, so there's a lot of lactose intolerance in there too. But just having to be an advocate for myself because I was under my own health insurance now. I just went with the flow and like took all the blood tests and blood work. And eventually, when I was diagnosed, I still had diarrhea. And I was like, something is still wrong. I went back to the primary care and she's like, well, let's put you on some anxiety meds. And I was like, no, because by then I knew that parasites were a thing. And because I was following other people on Facebook, and I just started to dig on my own after that because I know this anxiety is something deeper than just wanting to cover the symptoms with a medication. And that's when I found the natural path and in integrative medicine and holistic medicine. And really, alongside all of that, you have to be willing to be an advocate for yourself and practice a lot of self-care because when I was diagnosed, I stopped taking those exams. I think very shortly after diagnosis, I think I scored a 1 on the last exam in like
Mhm.
6's passing. And I was like, I am done with this. So I just had to really, let go of some things to take care of myself. And because of that, I realized how much I wasn't focusing on myself, even in my marriage. And I was giving all my energy to another person. And when I started to pull that back and take that back, and love myself and give it to myself, that's when things started to get really bad in the marriage because I was loving myself. And he didn't like that. Started saying things, "Oh, it's all about you." When I discovered the naturopath I was gonna go to, that was, like, nearly right up the road. He came home and I was like, I found something that I know is gonna help me heal and my health." And he didn't even like, "I'm excited for you and congratulations." He sat down, he said, "I don't know if you understand how hard this has been on me," and started to turn the table into his own victim mode, and I was like, "What the." I don't know if I could swear on here, but F is this?
Absolutely. You're more than welcome.
I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, that person does not care about me." Like,
Mhm.
he does not care about my health or if I feel good. Like, he wanted me to be the old Julie that just, like, shit her brains out and, like, just was not feeling good. And every time I would have this roller coaster of feeling good, and some of his comments would bring me back down, and I would feel good, and eventually I got to the point where I was looking at him with strange looks because I was like, "Did you really just say that?"
Mhm.
So it got really, like, contentious at the end.
I find that there are people who feel like they don't have any control, and sometimes in relationships, right, that those 2 pairings really kind of go together, and so this person who feels out of control, there's a lack of self-love there themselves, and then they want somebody to be dependent on them, and sick Julie was, dependent on them for
Yeah.
things, and then so as you started to get better, now that control wasn't there. You obviously made a brave decision, and you
Mhm.
left.
Yeah.
What opened up for you, or what happened in that season for you?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'll start from when I was still in the marriage in the whole last year, like I said earlier, looking forward being with girlfriends and sports and all that stuff. And really I had a sexual trauma within the marriage that because I was out a lot and people knew that I wasn't happy there. They You could just sense it, the energy. I didn't really talk about it at all. I was just kind of like, "Oh, Julie's always out and where's her person is never around," you know? So, I put myself in a situation that I do take partial responsibility for, but then no is also a complete sentence. No 1,000 times is also a complete sentence, and the R word happened, and that took a lot. I'm also grateful for it because it made me think about, "Oh my god, what am I doing?" Because that's another sin, and the whole Catholicism came back in the programming and conditioning of Catholic. And I was just at this huge breaking point. My sister actually came in and sent me, to see a therapist, which was very helpful. So I did this solo therapy and then we did marriage counseling together as well. And inside the marriage counseling, when we got out and went to dinner afterwards, he would reverse everything. He's like, "Well, we really don't need that. And we don't need to do this." And he would just completely reverse it. So he didn't know I was going solo. So I would go back to her and be like, "Everything we do in here gets reversed when we get out of here." He's not keeping his word of everything that goes on in here. So I went to my therapist. I took that to her and I was like, "I don't know if I can live with this anymore. This is breaking me." And she was going out on leave for surgery, and she's like, "You either have to do it before I leave for surgery, or you have to wait, like, a month."
Yeah,
I was
you
like, "Oh
gotta make
god."
the choice now. There was almost like something as like, "Okay, well, you've either gotta do this now or"
Yeah, because it's so easy to drag your feet
what
when it
is.
comes to something huge like that, and breaking a relationship and let alone a marriage. So I did it, the next week, and I packed my things up. Yeah, and I was bawling, of course. It was just heartbreaking to, like, let something go that you worked so hard on. I did love the person, but just not as a partner in a marriage.
We feel so many things when we go through a divorce. We feel like a failure because society tells us that if you get a divorce that you basically suck at a relationship and that even if there was abuse, emotional or physical or whatever, there's still this stigma, especially in the Catholic faith, that divorce is a big no-no. The things that have to come up and those fears that have to be navigated when we do make that choice, even though we know in our soul, we know in our bodies that that's the best step for us. It's
Mhm.
very, very difficult. Oftentimes, it exposes It exposes the places where we need more self-love. It exposes the maybe the beliefs that we need to question as well. And so when you came out of that relationship, I'm really curious when your spiritual gifts started to come out. Was it around this time? Was it before that? Like, when did those things start coming up for you?
Yeah, that's interesting because coming out of the relationship, I was so liberated. Like that feeling of liberation just overcame me. I started getting into yoga a lot with the health issues and the divorce, probably at least twice a week. Then I started meditating. But I lived with my sister at the time. This kind of is another like trauma that happened in the mix of all this. That a nephew of mine was lost to some unfortunate labor stuff that happened after he was on in the NICU for a month, and we had to let them go because he wasn't breathing on his own. So I lived with her in the basement, and I had like one little pad down there with the bedroom and TV and the couch and the bathroom. So there was a DVD player where the DVD would pop in and out, and some days would be more active than others. And one day I just, like, felt there was an energy behind this, and I got a little freaked out at first, and I probably looked insane going up to my sister, and I like, "Something's down there." 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, it was just kept happening, and one day I was like, "Oh my god, is this Junior?" And I just felt this overwhelming yes in my body that it was my nephew, and he was there with us, letting us know he is still in
He's
consciousness.
Yeah, he still exists. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
not in form here.
And um, it's so interesting because when I moved out and moved up to New Jersey, that didn't happen when I lived in a town that I was in before where I'm at now. But the very first time that my sister's family visited me at the beach house, my current husband's, his, I guess it was a PlayStation, it opened and then closed again.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh my gosh. And I was like, my sister is like an hour away.
Yeah.
Like, that is Junior let me know that he's coming along with them, and it hasn't happened ever since, and because I acknowledged that this was him, and I was in mediums circles where people would validate his energy and presence, that little nugget of joy just really, although I would much rather be having him here in the physical world with us, he just really was a huge eye-opening to my spiritual gifts and in consciousness and all of that came along with it.
I've done this with a particular person that I cared about, an uncle of mine who passed when he was in his these I was 14 when he passed. Had a freak accident, got scratched by a cat, turned into a staph infection, and he was in the ICU and he died a month later.
Wow.
Like, crazy kind of type of things, but his soul, his consciousness continues to be very active in my life and has been there for very important pieces. He was there the day that my daughter was born. He's had a couple like mediumship readings and he's always pushes through the front of the like it's so funny. He's
Yeah.
like this energy that just always wants to make sure that he knows. And I've seen him in the Akashic records. Like I know that he's doing something else too. And I find that when I shifted this perspective and I said, I know this person that I loved left this place and he went somewhere else to do something else, but maybe his energy and that anchoring that he did with here in my heart and now on the other side was his gift to me to be a bridge, to be there when I needed that energy from the other side. And when I hold that perspective in my heart and I say he was an integral part of my development and my journey, and without him being on the other side, I don't know what that journey would have looked like.
Right.
It does bring me peace. Of course, I miss him. Well, of course, I'm sad that he's not seen Asen in person, and the same thing with your nephew. Like, of course, there's things that we grieve. And at the same time, there's more that's going on than what we can ever imagine.
Yeah. Wow. That's so interesting. We have similar experience with
Mhm.
that because it truly is an eye opener when you realize there's more energy out there than this physical realm. Like truly an eye opener.
So it's almost like he helped you see your ability to be a medium, to
Yeah.
interact with the energetic world. And my gosh, I got chills. Like what a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely opened up a lot. Switched to a new company when I moved to New Jersey, and I wasn't truly happy there either. When I started to go into depression again, that's when I discovered, like, energy healing, and my first mentor, and that have also kept breaking the mold of connecting with the other side and telling all these stories that I've been through, and someone that would listen and like just be like validating me.
Mhm.
Life is okay. Like, you don't have to be perfect. And she was very connected with the spirit realm, and in particular, the angelic realm. So that just opened up a whole lot more.
Are you looking for a space to raise your health and vibration with other Phoenix sisters? Then come join the Vibrant and Aligned Facebook community. Inside this free group, you'll find health tips, resources, and motivation to live a life full of joy, health, and vibrancy. Make sure to check out the show notes for the link to join or search Vibrant and Aligned on Facebook. I can't wait to see you there. I love I love the stepping stones.
Yeah.
I went through a spontaneous awakening when I was on deployment in 2010. I had no idea what the fuck happened. I was an out of body experience where I was basically the I was in the no thing. I was where the birthplace of all that is. When that happened, it wasn't like all of a sudden all my gifts, my ability to communicate with animals and trees and intuition and energy work and magic and like not those took years to uncover.
Yeah.
But that one kind of single space got me curious. It got me curious. I think sometimes when people are going through this, right, they go through a dark night of the soul and they have this big thing that happens, or even just like a bunch of little things that really changes their life. And all of these things start to come online. We think that it has to happen all at once, but it's not. It's like a journey.
It is.
And so you went from mediumship to energy
Yeah.
healing. Yeah. And so now you are fully bloomed. So tell me, how do these gifts impact you now? Like how how does your life now serve purpose or meaning through these these gifts that you have?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like everything you said about the building blocks because yeah, my spiritual journey just has not stopped. You just kept digging deeper and uncovering stuff. I continued to like just really dig deeper in where I landed into the shadow work
Mhm.
and releasing entities and other malevolent spirits along with it, including the trickster god, which we talked our religion, like
Yep.
that's a good example of trickster
Yeah.
gods
Ooh.
and how they manipulate our brains and control us and our
Mm.
beliefs. So yeah, I kept just uncovering in my own unique way, but I had a lot of clients through the yoga days and when I was doing Reiki who would say my sessions were different because, well, we would talk for like 45 minutes before we got on the table. And that was shadow work. Like they would process what was going on in their emotions and then we release it with the energy work. And with yoga came meditation, being in the shadow work space now and guiding meditations to help guiding people through their shadow. I'm learning to do more of that now instead
Mhm.
of being the person that channels it for the person, but
Mm.
allowing them to see it for themselves and awaken their own
Ah.
gifts. Because if you can see your past lives and like go through these journeys and see your shadows and talk to your spirit guides and have them by your side through all of that, like then you're
Huh?
doing it. Like
Yeah.
you have gifts.
Yeah, it's the difference between catching a fish or teaching somebody to fish. You can help people. Of course, there are many beautiful people who support through energy, and for you that was a part of your journey where you supported people through Reiki, but there is a whole nother level when you start helping shine the light and shine the mirror on another woman and say, actually, the power is within you to do this. Like, whatever that looks like for you, you have incredible gifts. Like, sister, that is like a part of this mission of this podcast is like, I want women to remember how fucking powerful they are and
Yeah.
that the gifts that they have, they're in them and they're unique to them. My shadow work's going to look different than your shadow work. My energy work looks different than yours. It doesn't have to be the same. And there's no comparison here because there's magic that I'm bringing and magic that you're bringing. And we're all healing the planet together in this beautiful constellation of awakening women. And it freaking blows my mind every time
It
I think about it.
it really does.
And that you're a part of that. I love that you're here because, not just in this podcast, but even just knowing that you exist out in the world and that you're out here helping women, learn and see their own spiritual gifts and uncover those shadows, even helping people with entity attachments. And I definitely want to get to that, but I'm so glad that I know that you're here. You're doing
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that, I love everything you said there because I felt in some of the spaces like I was kind of triggering people because I would be a little bit different and I wouldn't do the Reiki, do the head first and go here, then here. And I was like, no, I feel this in my body. I'm going to this person's liver because they got a lot of anger
because that's
built
where
up
it's
there.
at. Yes.
My body was kind of like navigation, where to go with the client. I would feel stabbing pains and like that's how they would show me. And I used to do in my yoga sessions, it was like yoga and energy healing. I would do like 2 minutes a person
Mm-hmm.
during Shavasana.
Yeah.
Depending on how many people there is, sometimes five. There would be people that would say, you went to this spot on me. And I was like, that's where I was feeling so much pain. And I was like, yeah, I felt that.
Hmm.
Yanked it out. But there's so much power to mixing in shadow work now so that they can process it in their psyche and realize what's causing the pain, what's attached there, what belief is there, what trauma is being held there. Because sometimes those issues for people would come back after the Reiki because they would go back into their old
Their patterns.
ways. Yeah, and their patterns.
I love that you brought this conversation up because we don't realize as a society how much our bodies are kind of the interface for us, right? We have our conscious mind and we're conscious of our bodies, but we don't see our subconscious. We don't see the whole entire emotional landscape. We don't see our entire spiritual blueprint. And so the bodies act as an interface for us. And so if you're experiencing pain or you're experiencing chronic sickness, then there are ties to other things besides for just what your body's doing. There are ties to your emotions, to your mental state, to your spiritual state, to your past lives, to your ancestors. They're all connected. This is why I work with women who have period problems because the period problems are not just period problems.
Mhm.
They are trying to get your attention as best as they can to help you see something. And so when you bring curiosity to these things, now suddenly you get that's what that shadow work is. That's what that in investigating, you're getting curious. Why does this show up? Why does this pattern happen? Why do I keep having shitty relationships? Why do I keep having bad luck in my career? Why do I keep on having crappy health? Well, it's because there's something here for you to see. And so when you get curious, then now that changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I start digging, start asking the questions and being discerning because out there, like in, traditional medical world, they're like, well, it's just normal to have all of the period problems. Like,
Hmm.
I thought cramps were normal, but
Hmm.
no, they aren't. Like, you can change all of that as you heal your beliefs and your traumas. And not only that, but stress. Like, stress
Hmm.
played a huge part of my health and my life. And I even put that in my year-end reviews. I do as much as I can while still keeping my spiritual self alive and, like, my stress levels, because stress will activate my celiac or, like, IBS, I guess, because I'm not eating gluten, but it'll activate everything in there.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm like, shout it from the rooftops that when these things come up in your body is your soul's mate. Your body is here as a teammate for you to allow your soul to do the thing that she wanted to do here on earth. And so your body and your soul paired up together, and your body with all her little quirks, her challenges, right? Not everybody has celiac challenges or digestive problems. Some people have heart problems. I have a body that has PCOS, has polycystic ovarian syndrome. That was a portal in for me to start paying attention to my cycles because I was struggling with fertility. I was struggling with weight gain and stress and insulin resistance and my health. Like I felt like shit. And all of those things came to head when I started looking into it. That's what led me into menstrual cycle awareness. That's how I started healing. But because I got curious and because my body and I had this thing together where we're like, hey, we're working together and I'm going to help you along your spiritual journey, along your soul path. And that curiosity allowed me to repair my health, repair my relationships, and also expose or help me remember my spiritual gifts that I came here to do.
Yeah, that's super powerful.
It is.
Wow.
I want to make sure that we touch on this entity stuff because I was really curious about that. I mean, we started talking about health stuff, but what is that? Pretend I know nothing about it because I know very little about it. But what is entity or entity attachments, and what do you do in that work?
Yeah, so entities are born out of the collective shadow. So they're pretty much attachments that keep us held in those beliefs that may be outdated for us or keeping us stuck along our path, even our healing paths and our health. So there's a variety of them,
Uh-huh.
different names. So the basic is like a clive that might hatch and they could cause like pain, and the other ones could keep you stuck in belief patterns or keep you cycling through karmic loops. For me, my big one though was very much vampiric spirits and manipulation because I saw a pattern happening in my relationships where the vampires were like acting, they would even act through people. um,
Uh-huh.
some would be because they had their own attachments, so it was doubling what they could manipulate
Uh-huh.
within me and
Uh-huh.
weaponize against me, and others, you just get hooked in by other people's vampires. So, for instance, like narcissists or sociopaths, they're very vampiric in
Uh-huh.
nature
Uh-huh.
and manipulative. So you could be hooked in if you were with a person for a while that had some of those personality traits that just like hook you in. So it took me a very long time to get me like unhooked from everything that I took on from that marriage. Like
Uh-huh.
my beliefs, even down to my body and how I operate in life, because I had to really dig and find who I was again. When I saw I was repeating that pattern, that's when I was like, I need some deeper spiritual work here. There's a whole bunch of other malevolent spirits out there, but those are the two main ones that to start with
Uh-huh.
because they kind of build on each other.
Whether it's intuit or have heard or my own experience, I didn't know that that's what it was. Knowledge of like, oh, this is an entity. I have experience with it and I have experience of clearing those things because I've seen them. From what I understand, these kind of entities feed off of our energy. So if there's like a entity that's attached to a sexual assault that I experienced, or a few that I experienced, one before the military and one while I was in, and it was literally, like, attached it came out of my belly, and it choked me, and it blinded me, and
Yes.
so it was, like, here and here, and when I started doing my shadow work and was specifically about my sexual healing, it was, like, coming out of my womb,
Yeah, womb
and that's where
entity.
it was like that's where it was roots were was there, and then it was holding back my voice, and it wasn't allowing me to see my light, to see my own beauty of
Yeah.
myself and my self-worth, and when I saw it, I just intuitively moved through that energy to help it, to release it. There was a lot of crying, there was a lot of vocalizing, there
Yeah.
was even orgasm was included in that.
Yes.
So, like, that was my first kind of experience of sex magic, and I didn't even know it.
I used to do the same. Like, I would set an intention to whatever's keeping me disconnected during sex. I'm releasing this now because I'm in a loving relationship. So I started setting the intentions, and I was like, whatever's in my head with this orgasm, I'm releasing you now. I
And
just
it's
started feeling it
powerful.
through that way.
Ah,
It's super
and it's
powerful.
It's so powerful too. And those of us who are survivors of sexual assault, those of us who have risen through that, it's very potent. It's very potent. I feel like I reclaimed a power back when I started going into that space. And I know you've been in a container recently. Yes?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Vixen container that's been
Yeah.
exploring that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so it's a little different than like the Entity Academy where we were
Mhm.
learning about all the entities and just to expand on what you said that yes, these attach to us because we have wounds inside that we need to heal. And sometimes they don't cause like the pain, the physical body pain, but they'll suppress our gifts, like you said and just keep us like hiding in the dark, you know? In this Vixen container, it is a lot more sex magic based and healing the sexual traumas, the good girl conditioning, looking at your past lives of sexual trauma and discernment and things like that. Your inner feminine, healing the feminine energy and the masculine energy and balancing out those energies within us because we both, even males, have feminine energy, like we both have those within us. So,
This has been an incredible conversation so far. And if you're a woman who's looking to create her most vibrant life, tune in for just a couple moments. Have you been struggling with fatigue, cravings, or maybe you're seeing chaotic periods or just feeling disconnected from your body's wisdom? If so, it might be time to get some soul sister support. If you're ready to reclaim your feminine power and vitality, I invite you to come check out Sacred Phoenix Wellness. At Sacred Phoenix Wellness, I help soul led women like you to lose weight, repair your hormones, and get your energy back so you can meet life's challenges like the powerful phoenix you are. Using a science based, feminine led approach, I'll support you to create a hormone loving lifestyle that actually works with your body instead of against it. If you're ready to feel like yourself again and rise into a stronger, clearer, and more alive version of you, go to sacredphoenixwellness.com and apply to work with me. Your vibrant life is waiting. Now, let's get back to the show. It's beautiful because when we put ourselves in a container, when we make a conscious decision to be in a container with other women or other people who are exploring these things, then it gives us permission to explore those things ourselves.
yeah.
Sometimes we don't even realize how much we are holding our own healing because we think it's taboo or because we think it's not safe. And a part of that is our nervous system, right? A part of it is our bodies to feel like the safety. And so being in these containers where we are taking these steps, it helps us to explore the things that will help us heal or help us self actualize.
Yeah.
So you have actively been choosing these containers to help you develop your skills, to help you develop your spiritual gifts and help you just grow in your journey. For listeners out there, if oh my gosh, I look up at the clock and it's 11:11, okay? Like, so the magic here, so listen up, pay attention. For listeners here, if you want to expand your healing journey or you want to expand your spiritual gifts, I highly encourage you to get around other people, other women in a space where you can create that safety and explore these things so you can move forward. I think truly healing is done in a community.
Yeah. I do feel that as well. And this is like when I went into these mentorships and it's with the same mentor as Entity Academy, like I was very new to the community there.
Mhm.
So at first, like that was a whole lot of healing as well to like just like get used to different energy and being learning to open up and be vulnerable with new people and not worry about like being judged and you really have to find a safe space for yourself. And also I've found to have the right mentors who understand like people are going to get triggered within community, but having a middle person there to help you navigate it and see why it's triggering you and help you heal that is super helpful. You don't have to be in close relationships with everybody, but you can still be in the same space and just learning how to like be confident within yourself as well. Community helps bring up a lot.
It does. It is triggering. I see how much I have grown from being in business containers and also spiritual containers. And as somebody experiences a gift that maybe I am new at or is having that kind of vision or something, and it is triggering because you're like, well, why didn't that happen to me? I did the same meditation you did, and why are you seeing all this stuff? And I basically just saw what I was going to make for dinner. Like,
Right. Yeah, and spirits will only show us what our nervous system can handle,
hmm
in the time. And I tell you what, spirit will show you what you need to see, but sometimes entities can also like keep us blocked and block
hmm
our third eye where we can't see anything. And some people have trauma between their spirit guides to heal, and they have to heal their relationship with their guides, or their guides might get cut off because of the malevolent spirits. So
hmm
there is like a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes.
hmm
No, I just want to add, when people get into the spiritual path, I now have a disclaimer when people come to me. It's that if you're new to it and you're just opening yourself up to the spirit world, there are spirits on all ends of the spectrum, just like in this
Just like
world.
people.
Yeah.
Just like
So
people.
it really mirrors the physical world here. So you need to be discerning when you're getting into that world of talking to your spirits and spirit guides. So it's good to have the community to help you navigate that as well.
Yeah. When I first realized that I was able to do some channeling and to write and speak and spoken word, and I found it was very important to be discerning, to get curious and question.
Yep.
There's a lot of times that I like read stuff and I'm like, okay, where was this coming from? What is the intention? And I find like one of the best ways to do that is to ask, is this empowering to me? Does this resonate with me? Does it help me be a better person? Does it help me heal? Or is it coming from ego? Is it coming from, yeah, I want to feel special or whatever, right? Like I have to
Yeah.
ask those questions too.
I
We all
love
do.
that. I love that you brought that up because a lot of people also outsource to get messages and go to like a medium or a card reader, tarot reader. You have to be discerning coming out of those card readings and coming out of healing sessions because I found a lot of times I was like, that some stuff didn't resonate. And I was like, okay, I'm going to throw that out. And yeah, some of the messages I was fed, I was like, did they really just say that? Like,
Hmm
I just couldn't believe it, and sometimes within community, it was happening, like, and pinning me to not like another person, and that was happening in a safe channeled session, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I love this person that you're talking about."
Yep.
Like, I was like, "Okay, not going back there." So
Yeah.
you really gotta be discerning in the spiritual world.
Be discerning, be aware and curious. I feel like curiosity is really the best place to be. It's a really great energy because we're not assuming that everything is the way it is. I'm a card reader and I let people know every single time. Take what resonates with you. And if there's something that doesn't, then perhaps it's for another time. Or I'm also a human being. Like,
Yeah,
I have my shit that pulls through. I do my best to kinda clear it,
right.
but I'm also human. And so it's not, "Oh, she's a bad card reader," or whatever. It's just we're human beings, and we're doing our
Yeah,
best. But be
exactly.
discerning and don't make huge life decisions from one viewpoint. Like, it should be coming from lots of different places, lots of different signs and synchronicities, and I find that when I take a little bit more, what does it feel like in my body? What does it feel like in my mind? What does it I taste it. I taste it in my body, I taste it in my mind, I taste it in my emotions and my spirit. And if those things are in alignment, then that's what's for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree too. I always used to say, "This doesn't resonate, throw it out."
Yeah.
And because sometimes our personal experience gets tangled in there, and, because we've been through some stuff, and it may not resonate with the person, and it may not resonate right now, maybe
Mhm.
later on down the road, like even 10 years. Yeah, so
And there are times too when maybe it does resonate, the things that maybe do come through in our filters. I know in a lot of card readings I've had, I can see those mirrors when I'm saying something. It is filtered through my experience, and so the people who come, and I think that's why resonance is so important, because there are people who will hear words that I say and will connect with that. My message was meant for them. And there are going to be people who hear the same exact words and who are like, that's not for me. And so my words are not for them. Please find somebody else. It doesn't mean that I'm right and they're wrong, or that
Yes.
I'm wrong and they're right. It just means that there are people, there are energies for everybody. And so
Yeah,
keep looking, keep looking,
exactly.
keep
Yes.
looking. I would love to hear from you, if there was a woman who came out of a really hard relationship, or maybe she's even in one right now, where she's listening to your story and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening." What would you say to her to help her take another step in her life's journey?
I would say go inwards, definitely look within and see what's going on inside of you. And maybe you've even grown out of relationships, which is like the hardest thing to admit to yourself, that you either grow with the person or you grow out of them. And I think that's why, like, divorce happens, is because we are human and we're all evolving and we're all changing and growing, that sometimes the person we're with just doesn't want to evolve and grow with us. They want to stay in the frequency that they're at, or they have the attachments that keep them in that frequency that they're at, and there's nothing you can do about it unless they jump on the bandwagon and want to come with you. But if you are outgrowing someone and outgrowing some relationship, then it's okay to realize that and walk away if you need to, if it's bad and if you can't work with the person, like, I would say just don't stay stuck.
Stay
Don't keep
stuck.
yourself stuck in something that isn't fulfilling or happy anymore.
I talk so much on here about living our vibrant lives, creating a life that feels joyful, exuberant, that feels like us, that feels like the life that we wanted it. And yeah, we all face challenges. We all face unbelievable griefs and heartbreak, and also those joys and ecstasies. And the more that we follow that inner voice and get to know that inner voice, whether that's learning it through, spiritual practices, or getting to know your body, understanding your menstrual cycles, however, the portal in, go in, because she is the GPS. She is the thing that is going to lead you to the life that you were meant to live. And that fear sometimes can be really scary. It is scary. The unknown is scary. We don't
Mhm.
know. But the more that we take steps to those things, whether that's leaving a relationship, or, leaving a job that's no longer in alignment, or just even coming back to our own health, that can open up doors for us to lead a life that we always wanted to live. I have a gift for you.
Okay.
If you are open to it, I would love to pull a card for you
Sure.
today. Yeah. Okay. Great. So I use the Rose Oracle deck from Rebecca Campbell. That's what I'm using this season for my card readings, and I usually do card readings for my audience during my solo episodes. But I want to bless you with one as well. So of course, take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for a listener if there's something there, but this is also for you. Oh my gosh, I'm
I'm
gonna feel
excited.
like this is gonna be quite resonant. We literally just talked about this 2 seconds ago. So this is the child within card. It says inner mother, innocence, gentleness, and tenderness. This is a beautiful reminder to offer compassion when you are doing this healing work, to keep coming back to mothering yourself, taking care of your body, right? While you're doing it, to listen and to embrace the curiosity of it, like looking at things, reminding us to come back to curiosity and to honor that child that's still there, right? She's still there. And remember that the healing that we're doing is also healing for her too.
Yeah, I love that. It was the child within, and I've also went, like, through a lot of inner child healing during the summer this past year. And then a whole lot of grief happened during the fall season and the death process.
Yes.
And just like, yeah, the inner child was really getting healed a lot during 2025. So my inner mother had to come out and learn how to nurture myself because I am a Scorpio moon sign, so very lots of emotions come
Yep.
up and not a lot of people understand, I think,
Hmm.
the intensity of the emotions that I've been through. So I've really come to learn to mother myself. So I love that reading and thank you for pulling that
Oh.
card.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Goddess, for that, because I just let her sparkle a card for me. That's what happens. Like I see a card that sparkles and that's the one I pull. I feel like we always develop ways that spirit talks to us, like in our
Hmm.
little quirky ways, right? And so that's
Yeah.
what that's how that works for me. So
Yeah.
how can listeners connect with you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. My tag is at energy.revitalist.coach. So that's where I share a lot of my stories. In the past, I kind of went on a little bit of a break, but I'm starting to get back into posting here soon. Probably once I'm in this phase of Pluto is squaring my ascendant. So it's a lot of transformation happening for me as well.
Hmm.
But that's the main page. My Facebook is pretty much a repeat of that. And I also have a little herbal shop that it's all the herbal allies that I've utilized along my path that I share with people out there who are interested in teas and bath soaks and stuff like that. And that's at revitalize.your.soul.
Awesome. I will make sure I include those links in the show notes. I would love to hear just like one little parting word from you, Julie. What does living your vibrant life mean to you now?
Freedom and flow.
Ooh,
And just having that accessibility to move with the flow.
I love that. Freedom has been coming up so much in all of these interviews. It's like freedom, freedom, freedom. I feel like it. We are wanting this expansion. We're wanting our wings to unfurl and come out of the cages and just rise all as phoenixes together. It's so beautiful. So I love that you said that freedom and flow.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all about that.
And I have to add to you too that everybody's freedom looks so differently that,
It does.
find your own inner freedom.
Yes, 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 it does. Our freedom all looks different. And that's such a beautiful, beautiful reflection. Yes, I am celebrating you because you just finished another episode of the Phoenix Perspective Podcast. I am so grateful we got to spend time together today. It's really been a blast. If this episode lit up your heart or sparked something in your soul, please follow the show and share it with a friend who's ready to rise too. Until next moon phase, remember, you are so worthy of living your most vibrant life. See you next time.